Alright guys, welcome back. It's me, Daniel with VintageMagic.com. Hope you guys had a great week. Today's Finance Friday, and I actually am going to put a Finance Friday in correlation with an Ask Daniel question. It's a very interesting question by a fantasy artist, gallery artist, and also they also do like tattoo artists and such. And it's like, you know, it's kind of a dual career, right? But you're still an artist. And this particular individual has $31,000 of principal investment. They want to invest in what's out there. But before we even get to that investing, I always like to talk about, you know, kind of the facts of the case, like kind of like Susie Orman does. What exactly is that person's financials? So let's just dive right into it. There's a lot of information. And I hope you guys could follow me here, maybe write it down, and also give me your own feedback in the comments below. All right, so number one, this individual is 31, not married, no kids, doesn't plan to have kids. Credit score is around 750. So this is pretty detailed information here. So 750 is very good. It's excellent. You know, when you get to the 800s, it's very good. But as long as you're around that 750 range, that's very good. Income a year on average is about $90,000 a year, averaging about 1.5 to 2.5K in tattooing. Now, I'm not sure if that's net. Let's assume that's net. Doesn't have any kind of addictions, no drug habits, no alcohol issues, so that's good. You know, I think that's good to state that because of the fact that some people have habits of shopping or other issues that fall in line with spending. Savings right now are $31,000 and projected $50K by the end of spring 2019. My expenses are the following: $1,150 rent, $1,150 rent, $500 in bills, utility bills, etc. $300 for cats. Cats? Oh my God. These cats must be eating some like foie gras, like cat food or something. Jesus. $1,000 of food and miscellaneous expenses for entertainment, whatever, I assume. I tattoo 4 days a week, but my personal goal is to do more gallery work and sell more paintings. However, for the purposes of financial growth, I'm interested in making smart investment decisions, whether it's stocks, real estate, etc., to acquire passive income while maintaining enough opportunity and time and opportunity to paint personal projects. All in all, my biggest goal is to support my independence financially and time-wise, and I'm not someone who wishes to work 9 to 5 forever. I plan to travel a lot if I can afford it. Thus far, in speaking to a mortgage broker, I have yet to qualify for a home based on my 1099s. I also have considered cannabis, which is weed investing, cryptocurrency, and other index funds. I'm also interested in starting a business. Interesting. Okay. A catering business that involves a high echelon tea lounge with an S&M twist, Madame T style. Catering to corporate clients and business meetings. The classy clad dominatrix would host guests with edgy banter and some very light entertainment. Too many nuances here to state, but that's kind of the idea. Yeah, so, okay. So this individual is, I've met before. I'm not going to put the person's name out. You guys may or may know not the individual, but that doesn't matter. The idea here is, and by the way, I thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about this. I think this type of scenario hits home to a lot of business owners, a lot of fantasy artists especially. Fantasy artists, as you know, they're usually illustrators, right? Illustration art basically is like Wizards of the Coast hiring you to do a magic card. And then you would do a magic card, and then you basically get paid for that art. Then you could get artist proofs, prints, and stuff like that. So that's how you get money on the illustration side. You can also get money on commissions and altars and different things like that. This individual was talking about gallery work. Now understand that is fine art. Fine art basically means that you're getting commission taken away from you by the gallery, right? Obviously they have to make a cut. generally about 40 to 50%, and basically you receive the rest. The gallery obviously has the exposure, they have the overhead, they have the risk of having the gallery, and then you obviously have to produce work that people would like to buy. And also, this individual also mentioned they want to do more like stuff for themselves, more personal stuff. And it kind of has this artsy travel around the world, see the world, enjoy the foods, enjoy the music, enjoy the sounds. It really sounds to me like kind of that dream life retirement scenario, as if I want to travel, have that future, and you have to have a little perspective here. So right out of the gate, I'm gonna halt the brakes on this. I think the most important thing to understand with this type of scenario is that it's great to have the long-term goal and the short-term goal. Kudos for this individual to actually come out and want to control their finances. Want to, they're at a positive, right? There are no debt. 31,000 right now, projected to 50K by April 2019, spring. So think about what's going on here. This individual actually has their shit together, right? Has ideas. Now, they may not be ahead of the curve for some people that have invested in their 20s, but at least they have a perspective. And that's part of the most important thing, is having a long-term and short-term plan. So that part is excellent. Now, so you'll notice in this video, I'm not going to get right into like specific things to invest in. I want to talk about just baseline idea, baseline thought process, because that's more critical in this case. Another thing to consider is that when you travel around the world, it costs a lot of money. And you have to understand, plane tickets, food, entertainment, whatever, drinking, concerts, whatever you're doing, right? You're enjoying the world, that's great. But that type of lifestyle is very difficult to do unless you have a significant passive income, which this individual mentioned they want. Passive income is a term that basically means you have money working for you and you're getting money, right? Basically, either from large amounts of stocks, or you have real estate that you've purchased and they basically have cash flow coming in, or you have a business that generates income with you not having to be there. There's other things like that. So let me talk about passive income. For that individual's business, let's talk about different passive incomes. I think that if the person did gallery work and they built their business, right? They built their career as an artist. They could actually have paintings that they create around the world. Then give them to the galleries that they trust and then sell them and get passive income through that. Now, I wouldn't say it's true passive income because there's no guarantee of the sale of the works. However, if your name is big enough, like a Wyland, W-Y-L-A-N-D, he's the most prominent sea artist. He does the Wailing Walls, like big murals around the world. His paintings command $20,000 to $100,000 each. They're insanely beautiful and they're very simple and elegant. And he also does sculptures and different things now also. But his brand and his income is significant enough where he can just travel wherever he wants. And that's huge. That's a huge goal to reach. And so another artist I want to think about in your genre is Donato Giancola. I know Donato as a business person. We've done business. I've been to his home. He's invited me to his studio. And I can tell you, I can just sense, I don't know his financials, but I can just sense that he knows how to manage his finances because he balances his work life and his personal life, and he sees that there's assets that need to be obtained and a brand that needs to be made for gallery work. So before you just do gallery work to get possibly passive income, you need to build that brand, and sometimes that brand takes time. I know this individual has done shows like a LuxCon and different fantasy shows in the past and done some gallery shows, but it takes time and it takes engagement and marketing. Now let's talk about the question at hand of your current job, the tattoo job. As mentioned on the phone, this person said that it's starting to hurt the person's back and it's physically daunting, right? Sometimes 9 to 5, right? Doing tattoo, it hurts. And that person doesn't want to do that for the rest of their lives. And I get it. I totally get it. It's kind of a labor and mentally intensive job. You have to focus. It's like being a dentist. You have to do it right or you get their teeth all messed up, right? So as an artist, a tattoo artist, you can't make mistakes like that. And it's physically hurting. So if you think about what's going on here, this person is looking for the future, and at 31, things could change really quick in the next 5 to 10 years. So my feeling is this: save as much cash as you can these next years. I would cut back the spending, which I think your spending looks pretty fair. I think if I do the calculation right, it's about 2,700 range, 3,000, let's say, give or take, depending on what time of the month that you spend. So I kind of feel like the spending's not overkill like crazy like some people, but I feel like the opportunity here would probably be to save as much as you can whenever you can. I feel like you also need to have what I call, this is a huge thing, a 6-month to a year nest egg. Now let's explain what that is. Every financial advisor, Susie Orman, other people will say, hey, you need to have like a nest egg if something happens. And what that is basically you need to make sure that as shit hits the fan and you're not able to do tattoo stuff or you're not able to do art, you're able to have some income for your rent, to live, etc. Well, you're probably saying, well, Dan, that's what the 31,000 is. No, I'm saying excluding the 31,000, you have the 6 months to a year already saved up. So already out of the gate, you're probably saying, wow, so what you're saying to me, Dan, is not to invest a dime. Well, I'm not saying don't invest a dime. I'm saying for now, you need to not go what do you call risky investments yet. You have no room for failure, essentially. In a way, if something happens medically, if something happens where you got to help family, something like that, something happens, that kind of money, that smaller amount of money, no offense, will actually affect your life and cripple your wealth immediately. So be very careful. So first thing you do, 6 months to a year, nest egg, make that as a goal. Now, what is that? Basically, I would say, I probably, in your case, try to get $30,000 to $50,000 just in the savings, ready to go if something hits the fan. Now, let's say you're already past that. Let's say you got that and you're down the road, you have some investable money. The current money you have right now, you can just put in, some basic mutual funds. You can put into like some CDs for like a year or so, for like a 1.5 interest. There's some rates like that. There might be some more conservative where you get like a money market and it's like still 0.5% or so. You could just do that to keep it liquid. I don't think it's smart to dive into cryptocurrency, cannabis, anything like that until you have the nest egg and you also have other things in check with your personal life and gallery stuff. Real estate is completely out of the question right now. I think you're not ready financially. You don't have the assets, you don't have the leverage, and you don't have the reason why the banks are not loaning you the money is because banks require you to have 2 years plus of, especially your own business, even 3 years of consistent income at the same scale, and then they average that out. So if you have a really high year, they're gonna look at more of the medium trend. What is really the realistic trend? So real estate is out of the question. Let's talk about your business idea. I think this is really great. I think there's ways to be a part of a business or create a business with people and not spend a lot of money. And let's talk about what I would think about that. As an artist, why don't you consider offering the people in the business the art in the possible business itself? I like your idea, like doing like more of a loungy style. What if you created the artwork, the murals, or a design of a lot of the art, and that is value. That could produce stock ownership, percentages of value of the company. You may do it for free, meaning you will not get paid as a paycheck, but the stock of the company is worth a lot. And then you can also negotiate dividends, sales as every month. You might say, hey, I want to get X amount of dividend. I want to get X amount of percentage of the sales from the profits, the net profits, right? So then you start getting to a point where you have dividend of income, you have an investment of a business, and you also have dividend of your actual work. And so I think that's where you can negotiate. I don't think you can put in money at this point. I don't think you're ready yet. And the reason why, and so all this comes down to like your savings and all that stuff. The key number for you, I would say, is this. I say you have your $30,000 to $50,000 ready to go for savings. I think you should then have another $50,000 or so, then you can start investing. I would go more conservative. I would be diversified. Number one, I probably would go with your like Roth IRA. Roth IRA is a maximum distribution where you can do, it's net. So it's after your paycheck, you have to spend $5,500 cash. That's the maximum you can put in every year. And you can put them on a mutual fund, a conservative one, a mid-level one. I think that fits. Or you can do individual stocks. I recommend a mutual fund. And just do that every single year. Every single year as long as you can. If you make too much money, you can't do a Roth IRA. But at your point, I think if you make $150K a year or so, you can still do it. So right now, do a Roth IRA, no question, always do the Roth IRA for your retirement. That's not as much money, and you can even do that right now, even with that $31,000, and max that thing out, right? Then what I would consider doing, if you have that extra money, is then diversifying towards other IRAs and other individual stocks. But I would also then focus more on your business and your gallery work. I like this idea of marketing your business and creating a brand. I see Donato growing his brand and starting from something to just something little to something greater, right? And doing more social media, doing more attention for people to be aware, buyers to be aware of your brand and your gallery work, to be more out there, to do more shows, to be more engaged, to continue growing with classes and growing your technique. That is how you are going to grow, is from your other fine art business too. And then the other business, right, what I was talking about, you can always spend the time. The S&M, the lounge, the tea business. You can leverage that time to also do something within that. You can do that even now if you were able to get stock share and some dividend, right? So you can leverage time that way. But I hope all of this, I hope that all this makes sense. I hope you guys enjoy the Finance Friday. I know there's a lot of information in this video. And if you guys ever want to be considered to do a Finance Friday profile, just send me a message at vintagemagic.com. I'm happy to talk to you more about it. I know there's more to this. I know you guys will have some follow-up and ideas, but I really, really appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys learned something. Take care.